Welcome everyone to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. I am joined once again today by Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari. Gidi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Moshe.
So Gidi, we just spoke on the briefing about what's happening in Lebanon for those of our viewers who watched our briefing last week. And I said we got to get you back to discuss a very pressing issue that's happening within the borders of Israel that we just don't talk about enough. And then subsequent to that discussion we had, something hit the news in terms of the police breaking up this mafia ring. And I don't know if there's a better term to describe it. That's really extorting. Right, a crime organization, a network of crime organizations here in Israel extorting Jewish businesses in Israel. We're not talking about Lebanon, Syria. We're not talking about Iran. We're talking about within the borders of Israel. There are Arab crime organizations extorting Jewish businesses. We must talk about this. You know a lot about this. So please, Gidi, explain to us what is happening right now in Israel.
Well, it's not something that is new in Israel, actually. The issue of crime organizations that are using protection to get people pay for their protect their businesses. It's something that is going on about more than 15 years, but it became extremely increasing after the war. I'm talking about the north, the Galil area. It's well known all over Israel, but in the Galil it's been increasing the last year. We are talking about thousands of businesses, of all kinds of businesses, that are paying protection to organized crime or crime organizations that the front of them, they are Arabs that are living in the Galil, Israeli Arabs, but it's a co-production of Jews and Arabs together. Actually, the back office of them, the guys that are helping them and running the money, they are Jews. So if someone is talking about living together, Jews and Arabs, apparently the criminals are doing it very well. But it's beyond the laughing. It's a big issue because people are paying a lot of money. People are terrorized and are being terrorized, and people who are paying, they don't understand that they are living in a sort of atmosphere of a criminal atmosphere. Although the guys that are paying, they are honest people, but the fact that they agree to pay to a crime organization money in order to get how do you say it, shmira? Protection to their businesses. It's living and taking part in a crime organization without knowing it. And I call it, I see the problem as a problem of all the community, not only of those who are paying. Because now, if I own a supermarket and I'm paying, let's say, 5% of my income, or even more, 10% of my income to these guys that apparently are protecting my business, they are not. I need to bring this money from somewhere. and this somewhere is from my buyers. So talking about the life in Israel, that it's increasing the life in Israel,
The cost of living
the
across
cost of
Israel is
living in
going up.
Israel is increasing all the time. uh, I'm paying also for the protection. So
Now, just
it's impacting all the community.
and just explain for a moment. So this grocery store in the Galil, this farm, whatever this business, and you're saying there's thousands of them that are paying this protection money. How are they paying? They're paying in cash. Are there
No,
credit card
it's
transactions? What are the bank
very
accounts?
it's very well organized. They are paying it to bank accounts. They are getting if um, um,
A
I
tax
don't
receipt,
a tax
a
receipt
bill.
for it. Yes, and everything is very well arranged. But if you are checking very well the tax receipt and look for the if you investigate a little bit who gave you the tax receipt from which company, even if it's a protection company, you will see that there is no company. It's one man company without guards, without offices, without nothing. So maybe you, as someone that is paying for the protection, you are happy because you think that you are protected. There is no really protection on your
So I'll
business.
ask a very naive question. Where is the police in all of this? Meaning, this protection company shows up at the doorstep, knocks on the door, and says, "We need you to give us X amount of shekel, or else." They don't call the police, or once they've paid and they have that first invoice in hand, they can't call up the government and say, "Investigate this company." Well, what's happening?
What's happened is that since people are terrorized and afraid, they pay. They don't inform the police. And most of the people are afraid to call the police because they're afraid that they will get harmed. And this is the big issue because people are paying. They are paying because they know that if they won't pay, their business might get harmed, and the insurance will not will not give them insurance, so they prefer to pay.
Are you able to share with us the types of businesses or the size of these businesses? Are we talking about little mom and pop makolits, little tiny stores, or are there any large corporations, big companies that pay this protection money?
It starts even I know about teachers, but this in Arab towns, teachers that are paid 8,000 shekels a month salary, and 2,000 of it they are paying protection. It starts with this, and it goes up to corporates, big corporates in Israel that are paying protection. I don't want to mention names, but there are big corporates that are paying protection. They do it through security companies that are hiring guards and everything, but it's paying protection.
And then, as you said, those big corporations that potentially are servicing customers across the country are passing those expenses on to the rest of us. Now, is this, just to clarify, this is not an issue exclusive to your region, the Galil, but it happens across Israel?
It happens across Israel. What happened here in the Galil, since it's a very closed and small zone relatively, what we did, we made this NGO that it's called Adkan. And the idea is to try to fight back the protection. And the way we do it, it's not by coming to those that we know that are paying already and telling them, listen guys, stop paying protection. But we call people that are at the first stage, that they were approached to pay protection, and call us. And then we have some terms that we put in order to help them. First of all, you need to come out to the press with your name and tell that I'm not paying protection, never matter what are you going to do. Second, you need to complain to the police. And third, we all together will help you to fight it back. We have volunteers that we bring them in order to guard your business or your home or whatever. Not for a long time. It might be for 1, 2, 3 weeks, not anymore. But in this time, what we do, we help the business to organize a real security company to come and take over the security. We help him with approaching the police, and we encourage him to stay strong against these organizations. We are visiting him, we are helping him, we are escorting him, and actually what we see is what we do, it really helps. I mean, everyone that did this stage with us, they left him alone and they are not bothering him anymore. Why? First of all, because they know that everyone that refuses to pay, there are another 10 that are willing to pay. So they will go on. Second, they are very afraid of getting in a violence issue with business that are owned by Jews, because they are afraid that the police will treat them in another way, or our security service will come into this issue, because they will tell it's something that belongs to a terrorist organization. So they are very careful when they are dealing with Jews. But it doesn't matter. There are a lot of people that are paying a lot of money every month, and putting themselves and their neighbors in danger, and they are contributing by elevating the cost of life for everyone, because they need to pay from somewhere this protection.
Hey, this is Moshe Davis at IDSF, and I invite you to come on a life-changing mission to Israel. Join us this March for a unique and immersive journey. You will learn from Israel's leading military experts, explore key sites, and understand our greatest challenges and opportunities. And of course, you'll give back to the country. This is not your typical vacation. It's a mission designed for those who want more than just sightseeing. It's for people who want to deeply connect, to volunteer, and to stand with Israel. And don't worry, you'll have a lot of fun doing it. You will hear things that few have heard, and you will meet amazing people who are transforming our country. Every moment invites connection. This trip is a combination of learning, volunteering, and experiencing Israel. Visit idsf-usa.org to reserve your spot today. Do you think the recent police action that we read about this week, kind of breaking up or investigating some of these crime families, do you think that will have a major impact, or is that just a little dent in this massive problem?
You cannot ignore that it's a major impact, but it's not enough, because at the end of the day, the court of justice in Israel is very rachmunes with the with these guys, and instead of giving them punishment for 10, 15 years in jail, they give them 2, 3 years in jail, and it's nothing.
And
Uh,
why do you think that is?
I cannot explain it. I really don't understand it because they can do much more. I think even the judge might be afraid of them. Even the prosecutor might be afraid of them, of those crime organizations. So, and although the police is doing a good job, not enough. We have a very small police. All the Israeli police are 32,000 people. All the Israeli police. We are 10 million civilians in Israel. The police is too small relatively to the number of inhabitants of Israel. So they are doing, but not enough. And we encourage them to do more.
Now, this problem exists in the north in the Galil. It exists in the south in the Negev. Do you know if this also exists in Yehuda v'Shomron? Do they have the same problem over there in terms of needing to pay this protection money?
I don't believe that they have this same problem.
Okay, so explain that to me, because you would argue that in Yehuda v'Shomron, where there are 2 million non-Arab
I will tell you why. I
residents,
can I can
please.
presume. First of all, everything that is going on in Yehuda v'Shomron between Jews and Arabs, it goes through the Shabak, the security service, and not the police. So if there is some kind of crime organization that is trying to do something against Israeli settlements in Yehuda v'Shomron in order to get protection from Jewish business, I think it will be very difficult. I'm not saying 100% that I know that there is no protection or no activity of crime organizations in Yehuda v'Shomron, but they have enough good businesses in the Negev and in the Galil.
And in terms of the intentions behind these criminals, I mean, would you call them criminals? Would you call them terrorists? Do we care what their intentions are, whether they're economically driven or driven by the interest in harming Israel as a state? How we respond to it, does it make a difference what the
I
intentions
think
are?
I think the basic intention is criminal. But turning this from criminal into a homeland security problem is just like that. And it will happen. I'm sure it will happen. They are buying a lot of arms, and they might use them sometime against us. And again, it's getting a much more and more dangerous issue as days go by. And sadly, I say that the state of Israel, as the government, doesn't give it enough attention as required.
And if somehow that were to change, and the government were to realize that this is a very serious national security situation, where would they start? Would they start on the policing level? Would they start on the finance piece, closing down these bank accounts and going after these companies? What do you think the strategy would be?
It should be a combined strategy of the tax authorities, together with the police, and the way that the U.S. finished with Al Capone is through the tax authorities, not through the police. The same thing is here. We need to deal through the issue of the money and close them down, and of course also the police.
Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I think this is an issue that many in Israel who follow Israeli media are aware of, but Americans and certainly people who follow the English language media are not as aware of. So I think this is super important that you have shared all of this. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for all you're doing to fight all of this.
Thank you for the opportunity of presenting it.
Absolutely. Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. We will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.